So again, this is a deck that we were playing a lot before Dominaria United came out. It is a strategy that I believe we 4-1'd. No, we went 3-2, 5-0, and then I think I 4-1'd. It was 4 or 5 leagues after that. So we had like an exactly 80% win rate into the last league we played, which was a 3-2. But like the vast majority of those losses was to Hammer Time. So the idea is that we've kind of like rebuilt the mana base to have more fetch lands so that we can afford to splash white in the sideboard for Prismatic Ending to deal with like obviously like most of their Hammer Time draws, but also Sanctifier in fact. We're also playing Hidetsugu Consumes All as a card that's I think pretty well positioned at the moment actually with like between Hammer Time and like Dredge coming back and Rhinos, a card that hits like a lot of bases, but also like is mostly for Hammer Time. Then we have, still the Terminates for Murktide, and then Blood Moon is, I think, we're playing a split of Blood Moon and Magus so that we can both be good against Tron Titan, while the Blood Moon, like 3 moons can be our plan against Creativity and Scape Shift. So, besides that, the main deck is the same, besides the changes to the mana base. It's not the same. We're playing a Squee over a Kroxa now, which I think is also better. Squee is a card I've been liking a lot as a one-of over these decks that play one Kroxa, especially this one with a Goblin Bombardment too, right? Would the mana base support Shattering Spree? It would, but like the thing, like what's great about Prismatic Ending is like good against the like Sigarda's Aid, Hammer Time, Pure Steel Paladin plan, but it's like the only card that's like good against that plan that also answers Sanctifier in fact, right? Because any of your like Shattering Sprees, Hidetsugu Consumes All, I guess Engineered Explosives would be the other one, but it's very very slow. Okay, I like this hand a lot. I think I'm gonna lead on the Rebirth as a land. Do you think 2 Blood Moon main over a Squee? Blood Moon is like is too in this highly synergy based deck. You can't afford to have like just like goofy Blood Moons. I think, especially when you have so many other 3-drops. This is Harry, right? Looks like Harry. Oh, let me update the title too. Ooh. Of course, as soon as I drop my Voidwalkers, huh? Okay, so let's go Grief, Pitch, Bloodghast. Oh, it's just mill. Just mill. Obviously, just mill. Archive Trap, Into the Story, Surgical Extractions, Tasha's Visions. I'm actually not that weak to Tasha's, surprisingly. Into the Story is scary, but kind of far away. I think it's actually just the take. I'm okay with getting Archive Trapped. Maybe Visions is... Oh, no, Visions is just going to be on next turn. Yeah, it has to be that one. Yeah, I guess like that one cyber card could have been the Emrakul, right? Like it's very often just Emrakul when I'm missing a spot. Although this is not really a matchup I hate. Not really a matchup I like that much either. It could have been good to fetch this turn actually. And maybe it was correct to fetch this turn and get Archive Traps so that I could try and find Bloodghast a bit quicker. Although I guess my Bloodghast would be getting Surgical. Also have a Squee to get, I guess. There's a Bloodghast, which I imagine is going to get Surgical before I can play my land. Oh, just draw step. Although now I have the option to play Blood Crypt and not turn on the Archive Trap yet. Opponent's hand is Archive Trap, Into the Story, Tasha's Mystery card. And then now another mystery card after the draw step. And neither of those mystery cards are lands. So let me go attack with both creatures, and then I think I'll go Mayhem Devil, ping the crab, which does turn on the Archive Trap, but I think we're just going to have to accept that. It could be interesting to like not grab a land, but I think I want to land because of Squee. Wow, chump block. Pretty aggressive chump block. Okay, so Rebirth. Then I will cast the Mayhem Devil. Ping my opponent. If I played this pre-combat, I would have gotten another damage. So, oh yeah, my Bloodghast are surgical, but I do have a Squee that I could have milled. I didn't mill. Another Visions of Beyond draw, though. That's kind of a disaster. Ancestor Recall, obviously, into Crab Fetch Land. Although the Fetch Lands do come at the cost of a damage, and I've milled over Squee. Do I have lethal? Because I can kill the crab. Attack for not lethal. Another Archive Trap is a possibility to have been drawn. Kane is currently Tasha's into the story, 2 mystery cards. I think I can tank a Tasha's. And if the crab chump, if the crab chump blocks, I can just deal 2 damage with the Marsh Flats at the face. So like this is like just +1 damage to crack, anyways. Okay, so now I need to think. 9. Oh, I think Kira's just dead, right? It goes to 9, takes 7, then dies to my fetch land. So he has to have a like Swamp Fatal Push here, right? Maybe didn't factor in the fetch land dealing damage. Cool. Do you think a 5-colored shadow deck could be viable? I mean, I think 4 colors is usually pretty reasonable, but I think that like the Grixis versions aren't lacking so much, and despite like yes, like you want to fetch shock very aggressively, like you still will stumble on your colors if you build as like a full 5 colors. Okay, let's bring in Blood Moon. I like Blood Moon's better than Magus here. Or I guess, I mean, maybe not on the draw. Maybe just on the play. Maybe I'm actually like, cut all the Unlucky Witnesses, bring in Hidetsugu Consumes All. Seems actually pretty good. 2 Blood Moon, be at 61 cards. Maybe I play a couple Witnesses on the draw, 62 cards. Did I miss your blue-white list with Binding? I guess you missed it. I played it like all day one day a couple weeks ago and liked it a lot. Didn't want to make too many changes. Okay, so I have 2 Malakir Rebirths here. I have Fury if they're on the crab draw. I guess I can keep this. Good Village Rites the Fury if I don't draw a land. Lantern. Okay, so Lantern's going to stop Malakir Rebirth from bringing back Fury, so I guess I'm going to try to Village Rites it instead. Interesting. I want to keep the Hidetsugu Consumes All, I guess, now, so let me pitch the Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay, maybe just plan to Hidetsugu Consumes All next turn. Okay, I think that's going to be the plan. I'll just play this Rebirth tapped. Why the split Moon Magus? So Moon is like a card that I'm interested in against both Creativity and Scapeshift, which are 2 like obviously really relevant decks. It's obviously better against Scapeshift, but I would be bringing in like 2 against Creativity also, or up to 3, and I have 3. And no, don't counter this. Dang it. That was gonna be a really good HEA. Draws 3. Man, thought we were gonna be good here. And so, but of course, like Titan is really good at Besageing Blood Moon, and Titan also sometimes plays Force of Vigor, and so like I usually like Magus more there, and so like I still want to have a presence of both, and I do like still largely feel like that's kind of like what is missing, is that kind of effect, and yeah, for those reasons. Wisely does not sack the lantern. Of a drown, brutal. Okay, probably losing game 2, but we'll see. We'll see. There's only one card in hand, but they have Boro, of course, with 3 crabs is pretty devastating here. It's gonna be 9, yeah. Build another Bloodghast. I'm just getting archive trapped. Okay. Very good draw. Go to game 2. Get to be on the play for game. Or go to game 3. Get to be on play for game 3. I'm gonna play a couple of Blood Moons, or 2 more Blood Moons, up to 3 on the play. 62 cards. And also this build of the mana base, we have now 8 black fetches and 2 swamps. So like, we're actually just pretty good at like having at least 1 swamp before we play the Blood Moon. We're just like Rakdos game 1 with like 1 white source with 8 fetchables. Okay, love Ragavan on the play in this matchup, gonna keep. Fatally pushed. I think I'm playing the Bombardment this turn. Resolving this is pretty important, I feel. With double Bloodghast Mayhem Devil in hand. Yeah, Magus decides to push and drown. That's why I'm playing it this way instead. Okay, Lantern. Sell the Spyro. Okay, so let's dash Ragavan, evoke Grief, ping the crab after the block. Would I bring to a Pioneer RCQ that's mostly going to be Rakdos? That's Rakdos that's teched out against Phoenix. Well, probably not Phoenix. Rakdos that's teched out against Phoenix. I mean, so one thing people keep calling, they keep calling Rakdos there was like a lot of people tweeting that Rakdos was an S+ deck in Pioneer. It was a tier above S, which I've only ever seen for like Hogak and Urza. I digress a little bit. I feel like it's weird to put it like that high of a tier, especially when like the reality is like Rakdos is just not that good against mono green. That's the thing about Rakdos is like Rakdos is like very unfavored against mono green game 1, and it gets like really close to 50-50 in sideboard games, I think. But like that is like textbook bad matchup, like bad game 1, 50-50 games 2 and 3, bad matchup. You obviously win, a solid amount of the time, of course, but it's just like not nearly as good, I think, as you would hope for it to be. And okay, I think I'm gonna grief before I do anything else. Try not to forget to ping with the bombardment. So yeah, that's like a really bad dynamic for you there. Archive Trap, Fractured Sanity. I think I'll just take the cut and keep the Ragavan around. Or potentially I could go Mayhem Devil, cast Mayhem Devil. The Murderous cut the Mayhem Devil, and I'll just kill the crab. I guess if they don't do that, then it's kind of a wait. If they wait, that's awkward. Yeah, I guess I'll just take the cut. Ping here. Oh, sorry, I should have pinged them because I'm just gonna Fury. Never mind. Sorry, I should have pinged them. This damage. So yeah, so that's the thing about Rakdos is like mono green and Rakdos are defining I think the Pioneer metagame at the moment, and like mono green has a good Rakdos matchup, which is huge, but like the reality is like the rest of the format has to be teched against mono green because it's such a hard deck to fight. So much stuff just gets squashed by it, and so like it's like a rock paper scissors of like decks that are good against mono green, Rakdos which is good against those decks, and mono green which is good against Rakdos. This really feels like the dynamic at the moment. I guess I could leave the crab in play also, but I mean, I'm just not trying to get milled anymore, you know what I mean? I think red-black gets the best deck title because it beats everything else pretty favorably, where mono green will lose to aggressive decks like mono white heroic. No, I'm not saying that Rakdos is not the best deck in Pioneer. I think you can make an amazing argument that it is. I think it very likely is. But to like put Rakdos, like I don't know who it was. I can't remember. Oh, sorry, it was F6. Should have been SF6. Missed 2 damage. I don't remember who it was. But over the weekend, there was like someone who put an article that Rakdos was S plus, and I mean, obviously that's like somewhat like abstract and arbitrary assignment. I would have hit 2 more damage here, unfortunately. But so Harry can sack the Lantern now if he wants to play around a fetch land, which is I think good play. But I think just forcing it is also fine. I also know there's an Archive Trap, so I wasn't like really wanting to shuffle. I guess I also know there's a Field of Ruin. It's like for me, if I'm ever going to call a deck S plus in a format, which again, it doesn't really matter very much, but if that's ever like something I'm going to describe a deck, that's like Hogak, Cascade Valky, decks that are just like, these are decks that just have no bad matchups, you know? They're just like, you know, they're the deck to beat and they have no bad matchups. And that's not the case with Rakdos because it's a bad matchup against mono green. Yeah, Eldrazi. As I see Channel Fireball's Modern Power Rankings, do I agree with them? I mean, I don't think there's any modern player who fully agrees with any player's evaluations of a format. Obviously, like here, I'm just like nitpicking what is inherently like, you know, not that serious of a point, maybe, but I thought Mingu's like recent list was really good. It was Minguchi that put it out this time. I do think like Jeskai Breach, like, you know, continues to be very slept on, including in the list. But besides that, I didn't think there's really too many points I disagreed with, if any. Havoc, thank you for the 14 months. Appreciate you. So no known card in hand, just a Naboro. I have a Squee in the Yard to Escape and 2 Bloodghast, so land would be lethal, I think. Mayhem Devil is interesting. 15 cards left in my library. Let's just attack, I guess, and then kill the crab post-combat, so I'm not dead to Fractured Sanity or Archive Trap, or I guess it's really just those. Right back being the best second Treasure Cruise Tower format. Yeah, I don't think we're arguing. Rakdos is great. I think it's very likely the best deck in the format. Like, I think it's great. I think I'd be super likely to play it in a tournament right now. But like, my point is like, I think it just this characterization of it as S plus. That's just like not a characterization that I understand or makes sense to me. Okay, want to know. Also Rakdos like is super duper weak to Lotus Field if Lotus Field ever makes a comeback. Like that matchup is just like an absolute nightmare, even with sideboard cards, but there's no sideboard cards at the moment. Oh yeah, also very notable, 62 cards left and finished the game with 2 cards left in library. Anything from Dom makes Scam stronger. There's Squee, but it's also true that I think like this different sideboard construction is pretty good too. To help hedge against Hammer. Okay. Interesting hand. I'm definitely gonna keep, but I don't know what how I'm sequencing. This gives me some info. Gemstone Caverns. GG's, Harry. We're up against Calibrated Blast. So I guess I'm going to just play Ragavan on turn 1, and then I can go Evoke Grief after getting the treasure token and see if I need to use Malakir Rebirth to get like a second blast out of the hand. What's nice about this deck, or at least this draw too, is that we can pretty easily tank a hit from a Calibrated Blast. I think I'm pitching Village Rites here. Oh no, I stacked it wrong. Sorry, I missed. I just fat fingered the click there. I didn't mean to stack it like this, but now I think I have to. And okay, I'm definitely taking the blast. This is a 7/7. Yeah, I think I just take the Shadow. They need to fetch land to cast the Scion anyways, and then I can simply Fury the Scion if I need to. So I'll hold the Weakness as a red card for that. Maybe last block was bad. I think it seemed fine. I also messed up. I was F6 against the removal spell, the Mayhem Devil. Busy rambling about something. Who even remembers? Oh, shouldn't our opponent have shocked that in? You could have cast the Scion, right? That would have been 4 types. No, Scion would cost 4. Never mind. Okay, so still holding the Witness, although if I draw land, I can hard cast. Take the Emrakul to shuffle Blast away. Why not shuffle the Blast? This is the Scion. The Shadow is going to be like a castable 7/7. And I get to tank a hit from the Blast too, so if they're spending their turn 5, like just blasting and not impacting the board, I feel like that has to be fine, right? But like their 7/7 is like a real card here. Yeah, just hard casting this would be really nice. Poor Witness could have been cast this whole time. Like that is a line that like you can take sometimes, but I think that the Shadow is like more relevant. Like here, if they have an untapped Painless land, they have to blast my Fury just to live, and then they're not in a position where they can really win. Hey Mingu. I lost to these out of this deck the other day. Can't remember exactly what happened. So now I get to shuffle the Blast. Not a lot in our sideboard, unfortunately, for this matchup. The Voidwalkers are like, you know, which we just cut. We're actually 2 for 2 matchups where you'd really want Voidwalker, or I mean. Mill, I guess maybe not one of those, but I probably would have brought them in. But I think just not sideboarding is fine. Prioritizing keeping our life total above 15. Trying to race. Leaning on Grief for interaction. I think this is going to be a fine strategy. I'm doing well, Tyler. Really happy to be back on the stream. Missing 4 days is... Or, I mean, I usually take the Sunday off, but missing 3 regular stream days is stressful. I'm gonna mulligan this. Looking for like really either Ragavan or Grief plus black card. And there's Ragavan. I'm gonna put back second Monkey against Calibrated Blast probably. Although, like, I'm not casting Bloodghast on turn 2 because I'm fetching basic Swamp or basic Mountain. I'm not gonna go below 15. So maybe just having this in case they have like. What's that card called? The black-green card. The black-green card that, like, Crime Punishment? No, that's not it. Maybe that's it. I was recording Profitable Play. I don't know if we're allowed to say it. It's kind of like a unique, special, made-up format. That's pretty fun. But recording was good. It was, like, super high production value, which... I imagine you're probably somewhat used to since you've worked like more closely with like Wizards and more professionally produced content. It was like to be honest, I felt a little out of my element, but it was a good time. Amy and Brad are also like just such pros, they're just like so good at that kind of stuff. Might be a Tomb of Urami game. Yeah, it was a really nice group. yeah, it was a really good time. The professor's also like a super duper good host. Like we ate really really well. I was saying this earlier, where you're coming to visit the weekend after. I'm not going to be. It's not possible for me to be as good of a host as the professor, I think, but I'll do my best. Okay, blasting, Shadow Mortality. I'm down to 2. Citrus, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, game 3 on the play is going to be. I mean, my opponent might just not have another blast or any more damage, but we'll have a much better chance game 3 on the play. Radiant Fountain, gain 2 into Kill Me with Throes of Chaos. It says that you're subscribed, Tapeworm. I don't think I got a notification, but thank you. 4-color Omnath or 80-card Rhinos, which is considered better. I probably would prefer 80-card Rhinos to those two decks, where Rhinos you get a lot of premium, 0-mana interaction. And I also think that you're probably like pretty good against 4-color Omnath too, or at least alright. Could draw 2 off of a Fury. That's not there. Yeah, get a mulligan. Get a mulligan. I do like having Squee as a little bit of a speed enabler here. I think I'm going to put back the Witness because I'm most likely just going to go like cast Squee on turn 2 despite not being able to attack with it. Blue-Eye Control against Calibrate Blast all day. I mean, if they draw their copy of Beseiju, it's like really hard for them to win actually. It's cheating. They played a land on turn 1. Turn 0. So I guess it's better to have... Well, if I'm Malakir Rebirth, I lose 2 life. That's pretty big. I get to keep the treasure, though, which is less relevant, but would let me Tomb of Urami. So I could go fetch a swamp, Malakir Rebirth down to 16, evoke Fury, have a 2-turn clock, because then I can Tomb, kill next turn. And so this doesn't beat a Sun-Scorched Desert plus Calibrated Blast, but it is like a full extra turn on the clock in a game, that just feels like the only really relevant thing to me, I guess. So, see that. I haven't figured out the Emrakul and Pioneer. I did some playtesting. I did the Goblin Storm deck on the Sunday before I left. I thought it'd be a good deck to return to today. I've been out of town in Portland, eating and hanging out and recording some YouTube videos. So I haven't been playtesting. I'll be playtesting some more tonight though. Taking the week off Channel Fireball to catch up for the stream. Pika, 2 months. Thank you. In any game where you can activate a Tomb of Urami is a good game. I don't think I'm going to the RCQ locally on Saturday. I have a baby shower to attend, which is very rude to schedule a baby shower on a day where tournaments are usually being held. So they have to have another blast, a Sun-Scorched Desert, a Sokenzan, Throes of Chaos. Seems like none of that over there. I'm gonna Tomb. Lethal damage in play. No lands in play, but where we're going, we don't need lands. What does my opponent have? Leyline Binding? Which is castable if you get a Temple Garden. I mean, Sokenzan would have just killed me. Okay, they just missed lethal. They just missed lethal. So, but now we're just dead to the Flashback Blast if they have any untapped land, which is really hard for them to not have in 3 cards. Also dead to the Ramming Up Ruins. Okay. Probably not the best matchup. How come Rakdos is good in Pioneer, but Jund is non-existent? The mana in Pioneer for like 2 colors is really easy and clean, and you get a lot of utility lands. And in the 3-color deck, it works, but you'll stumble more often. You'll have tap lands more often, and the exchange and consistency in power level is not worth the exchange for consistency. Opponent's on a Mold of 6, playing the probably more traditional scam variant as Terminate gets pitched here. I have liked this matchup. I have liked this matchup in the past, although I haven't played very much of it, I feel. Oh, wow. Okay, well, Grief when played fairly is always not much to be too worried about. Although, if my opponent can remove Ragavan, we could get run over. Deck tech for Smooch. Does a scam deck have a good Omnath matchup? This one I think does. I think traditional or the more regular version, it's closer. Probably favored for 4-color, but you can definitely overrun them. Oh man, I've been gone for 3 days, and that was 3 days without Pioneer Yorion Toolbox deck techs. These Pioneer Yorion Toolbox deck techs will be the absolute death of me. They are so hard to do to deck tech for. There's just millions and millions of options and so much to go over. And then it's also like I have to go over presumably the mana base for your leyline bindings too, which seems to be a fate worse than death to go over the mana base for leyline binding. And Pioneer, it's not really something I figured out. So I think I'll request a mod, a refund, Smooch's deck tech. I don't know. I obviously Incarnation is a somewhat established deck in the format. This appears to be a version maybe a little bit more focused on as some different tutor targets. I don't even really know. I'm going to respectfully decline. It's just too much. Thank you, Horsuit. The ramble is worth the points alone. Good. Okay, so I do have 2 swamps in the list. However, I have no swamps in my hand. I did not have a black fetch to fetch earlier. My opponent has no cards, though. I also draw a Ragavan to unlock a black card here. I will say, of all the Pioneer Yorion Toolbox deck techs I've had to do, though, that one definitely has had more focus than the average one. The average one is not like just a bring to light deck that's not built around anything. Too bad that doesn't tap for black, huh? Getting up to Hardcast Grieve, Seasoned Pyromancer, Flashback though. I think my opponent drew Thoughtseize for turn. I think that they can infer that I have no castables in my hand and that they would rather hold Thoughtseize for Seasoned Pyromancer. That would be my guess for why they would wait so long. Although now my opponent's waiting long again, so probably good to erase those thoughts from my mind because it's Magic Online. People can take a long time for any reason. But if they do discard a Thoughtseize to Seasoned Pyromancer, I'll feel like a big smart guy. Not a bad draw either. Yeah, Goblin Storm did not go well. I definitely wasn't playing it thinking it was this hot new tech or anything. I thought it was kind of a fun list to return to the stream too. We went off a few times, but we it was I think most matches we have an awesome crazy game once out of the 3 games and then lose the other 2 games. I think Simon said Goblin Storm is perfect F&M deck, and I can't help agree. Okay, no land to bring that Bloodghast back, unfortunately, but Seasoned Pyromancer still incredible draw. We could theoretically evoke Fury for 1 more damage, but then that would put them to 1 instead of 0, so we can just wait. Kyle, 12 months, thank you. Okay, up a game. I think I'm not sideboarding. I could play like a Terminate. Maybe like -1 grief, +1 Terminate is fine. 1 year, thank you, Kyle. It's a long time. Happy anniversary. Bloodmoon hurt them more than us? Maybe. I mean, they had a swamp. I didn't have a swamp, right? Not sure why it hurt them more. Did we see like a grief in their hand somehow? I mean, it also like I had 2 uncastables in my hand for like 4 turns. Okay, let's keep this. Always nice to have Witness on the draw against the Ragavan deck, or on the play, I guess. And then I do think I'm going to prioritize getting a swamp, just since it doesn't cost me very much to do so. And if they did happen to leave Blood Moon in the deck, then that'll be nice. Not that I would really expect them to leave many, if any, copies in. So I'll just playing Blood Crypt on turn 1 so that I can play Witness on turn 1 and Bloodghast turn 2. My hand is now very discard resilient, which is nice. Unlicensed Hearse is less nice, but not the end of the world. Dothy Voidwalker would have been much worse for me here. I guess Voidwalker is a reason to be playing more Terminates, actually. I think if we go to game 3, I'll play more Terminates. Got any advice for helping people get into Modern? We've recently formed a new LGS, and for some reason, I've been crowned the head of Constructed. Well, I mean, I think making anybody like a format is not possible. People are just going to like what they like. I think that, like, you know, advice for running tournaments, just like cool tournaments with, like, you know, good incentives is probably going to be like largely the same for Modern as any other environment. I would imagine that you have some experience in that matter if you've been crowned the head of Constructed. But, you know, ultimately, I basically always recommend that people play decks that they think are cool and interesting, and that is a very unique thing in Modern. There's a lot of different decks that people gravitate to or away from. I have a fetchables to cast the Prismatic Endings, and I have them in there because Living in or Hammer Time is a really bad matchup. I haven't played Modern competitively since pre-Image 1. Should I bother go to Pioneer? Maybe I should have pitched the Rebirth instead, because there's the Hearse, actually. Should I bother with a go to Pioneer? I mean, me personally, Modern is my favorite format. I've been very engaged and focused on it for like 2 years now. I do a lot of brewing and trying a lot of new stuff, and I find it very rewarding and fulfilling. I think that there's a diverse range of different playable decks. There's lots of interesting gameplay. It's not a perfect format, but, you know, if you've ever played Modern in the past, you'll know that it's never been a perfect format. There's always been problems, but I like it a lot. I would recommend it. Maybe we could have played my land not first here. So I can Malakir Rebirth my Bloodghast if I want to. I think it's just find a way. Now they can't really tap their Hearse, which is nice. My favorite cards are Remand and Cryptic. Maybe those aren't playable anymore. Remand is actually seeing like a lot of play right recently now, in specifically Team Escape Shift, which is a strategy that hadn't been popular in a really long time and is now also randomly popular again. Cryptic is kind of out there though, unfortunately. I was thinking about matching their budget for a while and help them in any way possible with deck building. I mean, my biggest advice to you would be to like allow proxies, or just like, you know, just allow proxies. I don't know if that's like good advice for running a store, but that's like the best way to get a new person in, is like not to make them buy a Modern deck. You know what I mean? Allow a limited amount of proxies? Yeah, I mean, I would just allow all of them because who cares, you know what I mean? I would just like rather get to play against like even like I as someone who has like a very extensive modern collection, I would personally rather just like play against players who are playing what they want to play, than like force a player to not get to play what they want. And it's like better. Everybody has a better time. Like literally everybody has a better time, and you get better playtesting too. Oh, the Voidwalker. Sorry. Just so much graveyard hate. I obviously shouldn't have blocked here, but I don't think we're winning anyways. Bring in more Terminates. Store can make a bunch of stock decks to handle people. Yeah, you could do that too. I think that's good. Yeah. For tournaments, you have to not allow proxies, but for like casual weekly events, it's totally fine. Ending answers hers too. That's true. But like the thing is, Voidwalker I think is way more of a problem than hers too. Hers is good though. I'm gonna keep this. Kebab, thank you for the 12 months. Appreciate you. Do I have any hand-painted cards? Hand-painted proxies? I have some altered cards. Prismatic is for the Hammer Time matchup mostly. But you could play it here. I mean, the thing about Prismatic Ending also this matchup is like it hits Voidwalker, hits Ragavan, hits her. So it kind of misses everything else where like Ending hits Sanctifier, which is nice, but against Hammer Time has a lot of other equity too. Okay, my Fury draws me 2 cards and kills your Fury. There's the Hearse, not too scary against my specific hand. I will just play out the Mayhem Devil so it doesn't get discarded, holding the Marsh Flats for sacrifice trigger rather than play around Blood Moon. But if my opponent does Blood Moon me here, it's also not the end of the world. I can also potentially, if I just draw nothing, use Marsh Flats to ping my Unlucky Witness and maybe get a card from that. Yeah, if someone's like borrowing a deck for a tournament, you can just charge them more maybe. And if they're playing their own cards, they pay less. I don't know. I've never run a tournament. Not really the right person to ask, probably. But I'm probably not the wrong person to ask either. I love a viable Sultai deck in Modern. I feel like the only like tier Sultai deck I've ever seen in Modern was back when Uro was around. I can't really recall Sultai ever doing anything before Uro or like really after. I mean, I like the Bring to Light Sultai Uro deck. I guess that was a pretty cool one, huh? I always like that one. Oh, not Uro, Luris deck. Chipotle, tier 1? Yeah, Sultai Uro Strike was solid. It was never like super popular though. Hogak played red for looting though. It wasn't just Sultai. There's a Snowco pile, maybe. Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a million Snowco piles. I know Jim says every time he does a Sultai deck for a stream, like the views are always so high. People love Sultai. It's a good draw. Push Bloodghast. Try to bring back the Bloodghast. This is going to go poorly for you. They have a bolt for the Spyro. It's kind of awkward, but... I guess I could have still attacked first. Maybe that's a little bit better. But maybe I get to attack with the Bloodghast? I guess not quite, huh? Although I could sack both Unlucky Witness and Seasoned Pyromancer to attack with the Bloodghast. I'll probably just not. This is till your next turn, right? Oh, so your next instep, right? Never mind, never mind. Okay, so let me sack the Unlucky Witness first, and then see what we flip. We flip another Mayhem Devil and another Bombardment. I'm obviously just getting the Devil there, and hit them for 4 down to 7. And then we should have lethal if they don't have anything else. There's not much else they can have besides Fury. So not down to 7, down to 4 after the attack. Okay. 2 and 1. Losing only to Calibrated Blast, which, you know, loss against Calibrated Blast like barely count. Barely count. Good against Omnath. It plays Beseiju, so it's like has a lot of resiliency against counterspells. Just underrated, I think. Good hand on the play. Gonna keep this. Don't think we Village Rites many Unlucky Witnesses today. I would like to do that here. Marsh Flats. Could be Scam again. Oh, probably Hammer Time, right? To play test the sideboard. Okay. So trade Ragavan for Midnight. Then play another Ragavan. And then just Witness. Yeah, that makes sense. Turn 2 Saga. Springleaf Drum. Into Sigarda's Aid. So they maybe like they maybe on the block Ragavan, put a hammer on it plan. I think I'm just like not playing around hammer. I think I'm incredibly unlikely to beat that, so yeah, pretty happy with this exchange. And now I get to go Village Rites my Witness. Another Ragavan, and we do find a land as well. So we'll play the land, pass back. Certainly not in the best shape. If their plan is just play a land, pass back, make a token, they might want to trade Ragavan for a token. That would be fine, I think. Let's just start off and offer that trade, I think. Could maybe try to play Mayhem Devil first, but I might even like Seasoned Pyromancer for more blockers. We'll see. I want this trade to happen, to be honest. It seems like a tough matchup. Yeah, this is your worst matchup, which is why the sideboard is so heavily skewed for it. You're also a Fury deck, so it's like it's really not as bad as it looks maybe at first glance because you know, you're a Fury Undying evil deck, but it ain't good. Calls your Springleaf Drum. I guess I'll take it to Drum. Get the ping of them for 1. Get the ping of them for 1 off the Saga dying 2. But it looks like their plan is probably going to be here, make a token, put a hammer on it, and then we can get blockers with the Seasoned Pyromancer, try to build around it. Maybe they'll miss the line, I don't know. Retro Gamer, thank you for the 1 year subscriptions. Happy anniversary. Okay, ping them. Small little 13-13. Nothing to be scared of. Why would they Paradise Mantle here? This doesn't do anything. Yeah, I feel like there's like no reason not to hold this for a Pure Steel Paladin. It even has Flash. Is there any reason why to not go full 5-color modern? Yeah, your lands deal you damage, and like it's also true. Like you could play all the best colors in all the best cards in all 5 colors, but because the card pool is so deep, it's like it's not like they're super like you're getting a huge boost in your power level by being the full 5 colors. Although my dad always says, son, you're playing Magic. I just don't understand why everybody doesn't just always play all of the best cards. Why doesn't everybody always play all of the best cards? And I've tried to explain it, but maybe he's right, huh? Maybe he's just right. I think my opponent's dead if they attack, right? I attack them down to 6, ping them down to 5, then bombardment deals. Oh no, it doesn't quite get them. Okay, that was enough though, or it was enough if they attacked. I think it's still enough anyways. Oh no, because if they block the Mayhem Devil, I'm not dealing as much damage. So I attack with just these 2. They block here. Sack down to 8. So down to 9. 1 damage down to 8. 6. 4. 3. 1. I think I'm like literally 1 short. So let me see if I find a creature off the Witness, which I failed to do. Kind of. There's the Den of the Bugbear. Okay, 8. Yeah, I think I'm just literally 1 damage short, right? So let's just take the extra damage with the Mire for next turn. Pass back. And if my opponent draws Shadow Spear or Stoneforge Mystic, we probably lose. But if we can fade one of those 5 outs, we probably win. Curious to know your answer to that question as a non-Magic player like my dad. Yeah, I usually talk about how I talk about the color pie and how there's a balancing system and how there are different cards that are good against different cards. And I try to emphasize that there's like, tens of thousands of legal cards in a card pool, and that they're all like, in theory designed to do like similar amount of things for similar amount of investments. And there's not like just a pile of 10 cards that are better than all the others, but there also are, but don't tell them that. I kind of lethal. Yeah, so the thing is I can't attack with the devil, because if I attack with the devil I deal less damage. So I can only deal 1 damage in combat, but maybe I did something wrong. Yeah, but even in the decks that, like, 4-color Omnath, and the decks should just play all of the best cards, right? These decks also like have lots of weaknesses. These decks are, like, there's no deck that just beats everything, or at least not currently, not without bans. As what I always try to explain. Okay, so let's go cut the Bloodghast, cut the Squee. And I think I'm gonna go down 1 Grief, 1 Fury. Sorry, 1 Grief, 1 Rebirth. Maybe I want Rebirth more than Village Rites. Let's try that. Okay, Prismatic Ending online. We did it. We drew the card we're splashing for. I know the moons are good, but it's hard for me to be on this Prismatic Ending plan and the Blood Moon plan at the same time. I think I have to pick one or the other. But I did used to bring in moons. Ragavan is not just bad against Hammer Time. Just bad is not true. Ragavan has a lot of game against Hammer Time, and specifically against, like, Sentinel is nice to have access to. It's a card you can trim. It's a card that, like, in some spots it's worse than others, but Ragavan is not a card that I would describe as being just bad. Okay, opponent grabs a Shadow Spear. How's the Squee going? I mean, I don't know how much I would say it's a Squee plan as much as I'm just playing 1 Squee instead of 1 Kroxa, but I do think that the 1 Squee is better than the 1 Kroxa. It's not a very big thing, but it's a thing. So if my opponent has Cauldron, that's not too bad for me because I'll be able to just like Prismatic Ending the token, and I guess I wouldn't need to Bombardment the Stoneforge Mystic, but I could go. I could also play Bombardment next turn. Why no Graveyard Hate on sideboard? I mean, I do have Hidetsugu Consumes All, but I don't have Graveyard Hate because we have tech for Murktide, we have tech for Living End. We just don't need Graveyard Hate. Okay, so Hushbringer does stop Unlucky Witness's death trigger. So maybe I'm ending this. No, let's just play Mayhem Devil now. Maybe I don't get one trigger, but maybe like Prismatic Ending the Shadow Spear is really juicy if I can do that. Looks like there is a Cauldron too. So probably gonna have to ending the token. And then I can play Bombardment and kill the Hushbringer. Kill the Hushbringer. Not get it one Witness Death trigger, so I have another one. Not so bad. Oh, sorry, I should play the Taps Demons though. Or sorry, Blood Crypt. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm getting a little hazy again. Oh well. Likely good beats. I guess we can still play it out. So I can kill this. Take 7. And then try to find another Prismatic Ending. I have another Witness. I can also maybe deal 16. Although I guess I have to deal like 22 now, huh? I think playing around Prismatic Ending on the Hushbringer doesn't make any sense because I'm just like losing to, or sorry, playing around Blacksmith Skill for Prismatic for on the Hushbringer here. Blacksmith Skill on the Hushbringer doesn't make sense because I lose to it on the token next turn almost definitely anyways. God.com, think of the 24 months. Happy 2 years. Yeah, maybe I'll give Lucy some privacy, huh? Fortunately destroys, not exiles. But okay, so I guess gets rid of the lifelink, not the trample. Okay, let's kill the Stoneforge Mystic, I guess, over the Germ token. Looking mostly for Prismatic Ending. Village Rites, Seasoned Pyromancer. So let's go to 1. Failed. I'm not dead though. I can triple block, go to 0. And I have a few more looks at another Prismatic Ending. If my opponent's out of gas, then we can win. And not much reason to not take the only line I have. Hold this in hand to loot away. Although I actually don't think I can beat the Hushbringer anymore. They're playing so many Hushbringers now. Go to 0, right? This is 6 toughness, 6 power. I guess I can. No, I don't know what I can draw. I don't think there's anything. So I draw Prismatic Ending, deal with this. And I draw 2. Yeah, let's just go to game 3. Lucky to win game 1. Lucky to win game 1. Does not feel good that I drew two sideboard cards there that I didn't win a sideboard game. That being said, it was kind of a weird one where they were like, like a Cauldron plus Blacksmith Skill protect Cauldron, which I don't think is going to be a very common dynamic of this matchup. Like I could even see my opponent, like if they don't know the list, cutting most of their copies of Blacksmith Skill. Yeah, on the play, game 3. Mulligan. I think this is not a keepable. No, this is fine. This is fine. Never mind. I can keep this. I can go just turn 1 Rebirth, turn 2 Sokenzan, Village Rites the Witness. Yeah, this is actually fine. I'll put back Rebirth. I think runs on a mull to 6. 2 creatures in Spyro, sack both to kill Hushbringer. I can't because the Hushbringer stops the Spyro ETB trigger. The 4 copies of Blacksmith Skill per device. Yeah, I think it's kind of nuts that like every hammer list doesn't play 4 Blacksmith Skill, but it's also like whenever I make comments like this, I have to keep like in mind to some extent like I'm like always playing decks, so like Blacksmith Skill would be really good, like a really good option for. So like I do have to keep in mind that like Spell Pierce helps you more against like Living End, which is like one of your worst matchups. I was maybe supposed to do this in my instep because of like Spell Pierce, but giving them perfect info. The sequence isn't ever ideal either. And is relevant against exactly Ginger Brute. Another unlucky witness, which is good with my Village Rites, but there's also Hidetsugu Consumes All. I could just jam here. Just jamming this seems fine. Seems totally fine. I think that I'm okay to get like the tiniest bit greedy and maybe try to get rid of their Urza Saga tokens too. Especially if I like... If it's clear they're on Saga token game plan here, I can like... I guess I did a double hammer Gingerbread activation, but whatever. So hard to play on 2 hammers here, especially when they didn't play 1 last turn. Ending the Sigarda. I think I want to like try to like maybe wait to ending Sigarda's Aid next turn though is the thing. That Inkmoth Nexus is kind of scary. I think I'll just let this trade happen if they don't hammer here. Okay, them hammering is so good for me. Because now I just get to Hidetsugu Consumes All. Although I guess I'm not going to get anything here. Because HCA just cleans all this up. I mean, I've got 2 more endings in my hand, so it's kind of fine. I could play the Din tapped. Yeah, I guess I can play Din tapped. Maybe Hardcast Fury the following turn. Could still lose next turn, but I can't really imagine I'm not just consuming all here. Just a crazy card against Hammer. Why didn't I hit Sugu last game instead of Pyro? Would have gotten rid of the Germ token. The Germ token's indestructible. This destroys. Cannot destroy that which is indestructible. I'm glad I'm still playing Hidetsugu Consumes All because I was playing a lot of it when it first came out and it took me forever to learn how to pronounce it. So I'm glad all that time was not wasted. Hey, Lucy. Hi, Zen, 7 months. Glad you're liking the stream. Appreciate you. Welcome back. It gets a Springleaf Drum. Hopefully I'm not dead. They're animating Inkmoth Nexus, so I don't know how I'm not dead here. Well, yeah. Good beats. Hard to play around this. What can I say? I will say that the new sideboard plan definitely seemed like the matchup was better, but hopefully it's not still just super bad. I mean, that wasn't slow play. They just, you know, it took them a while to see the line, right? Grief on turn 1. Opponent's on the multi-6, feeling good. Yeah, sometimes you just get hammered, you know. It's Modern. You know, this is definitely the thing about Modern too. It's just like always been a swingier format, and you just kind of have to be at peace losing to losing to the nut draws in Modern. Like, you'll lose to nut draws in any format, but like Modern is like just definitely the format when they have a, you know, top 5% of draws or whatever, or their draw lines up super perfectly against yours. It's just like not as much as you can do in formats like Pioneer and stuff. Ooh, baby. Wait, why, Mana League? Why? I'm gonna rage. As my opponent says, big fan. Why are they playing the cottage tech? The cottage tech is so good. Let's take Moldrifter Persist, I think. Blood Moons are going to be good in this matchup. Okay, so to play around Mana League, I'm going to Village Rites my Witness in my instep. Mana League is so random. It's interesting. I don't know. Like so like they are playing Grief, so presumably they're playing Grief, Solitude, Moldrifter, Ephemerate. So they're playing like Mana League over they're playing Mana Leak over Aether Mage's Touch. Touch is just so good, though. Because there's really just not that much room. I mean, some people hate Unmarked Grave, but yeah, you have to play like something. You play Unmarked Grave or Mending. Over Pending, though, I'm not even like main decking Pending anymore. The list is like very tight. And I might not even be siding Pending anymore. I might be playing like just 4 copies of. Oh yeah, their list is just very different. I'm having a hard time cracking the code over there. Different. Lucy. There's a lot of life with this priest activation. Yeah, Mana League is like making a comeback in Modern. It's so weird, but it's cool. Okay. So let's crack this fetch. I think I'm dealing 1 damage to Moldrifter here. Then get a Swamp. Pyro, and then with the trigger on the stack, I'm going to Village Rites to sack my Pyro. Deal another damage here. Okay, then discard. Well, I got the 2 cards that are good in the graveyard. And I guess I can Fury, kill this, put them to 9, attack them for 6, put them to 3. Seems correct. Mana League, Goblin Bombardment, Alice Martin's Healing. Yeah, like it's one thing that's really weird to me is like Modern like had been kind of stuck for like maybe 2 months, 3 months. Like there wasn't like a lot of like changes into the metagame. And it really feels like so like at the end, like right before Dominaria, Creativity like finally became a tier 1 deck. It finally kind of got the respect it deserved. But also like there's just been like tons of like new innovation and tech and like new decks constantly, like lots of like really interesting like, you know, I feel like there's been like lots of new interesting stuff and dynamics to Modern the last like 2 months, month or two, that like you just like feel like you don't really hear on Twitter. It's just like all gloom. Not that anybody has to like Modern, but it's just I always feel that I feel like a little disconnected sometimes where I just feel like I'm always having such a good time and there's just like so much gloom online. I think I'm gonna play a couple Terminates for Archon, maybe just 2. Cut the Squee, cut the Furies. Like Scape Shift is like quietly an amazing choice in Modern, you know. There's just so much going on. We're gonna play in Doom's No Modern Horizons card Modern Tournament. I love Doom. Like if I played it, it would just be because I love Doom. Like, here's like if you want to play the tournament, like Belcher seems insane in that format. It seems insane in a format with no Force of Negation, no counter spell, no grief. And like you just get to be your deck is so crazy fast, and those decks are usually good against black based discard decks. I think Belcher is going to be like easily like would be my pick for like best deck to play, but it also like wouldn't be a very fun deck to play either, you know, for like a 4 fun tournament. So I don't know. Oh boy, Supplier. Aether Spike, thank you for the 11 months. Oh, all 3 Blood Moons. But again, it's totally fine if you're not like feeling the format, you know. But like, it's just like, I try to understand, you know, when people say these things, and I just feel like I don't understand so often. Okay, I'm gonna swamp, I think. It's bad if I draw another black source, but I need to get a swamp by a Blood Moon. I want to spend my mana on the Bloodghast this turn. We might just get priested, we'll see. Yeah, but it's also like, the thing is, like, before the Modern Horizon sets, and like, you know, before Image 2 also, like, Modern had just like changed so often and so quickly. It was definitely a format that was like very much plagued by the awful design choices. I guess I could have attacked the Bloodghast first, but it's kind of bad if they block. Yeah, I actually need to sack first. You know, just totally plagued by, like, you know, 2019, 2020, 2018 standard set design. You just feel like there was always like a broken new card from a standard set that defined the format until it got banned, or multiple busted cards, and or like Faithless Looting was like totally like way too dominant, and like you just kind of the Faithless Looting era was ridiculous. 25 months, Shane. Like, a lot of people always make the point, like the Modern Horizons made Modern a rotating format. It's a rotating format now. But like I understand not wanting Modern to be a rotating format. I've been playing the format for 10 years. It has always rotated. It has gone through drastic changes, like in like 6-month periods where it's unrecognizable, and if anything, like Modern Horizons, I feel like stabilized it some. They brought in Void Mirror. You have incarnations too. Come on, land. Well, 2 more looks. Both players stumbling. I also can't find a land. The Goblin Storm deck worked, but it didn't like win a lot of matches, huh? We would very regularly like storm off and go off one game and then lose the other 2. Still, okay. This is a lesson in why I don't like Stitcher Supplier in these Reanimator decks. People ask me about Supplier all the time, and it's just like you have so few cards that are good to mill over. You're just playing 1-mana 1/1s too often, I think. Yeah, I think after they banned Twin and Pod, that definitely feels like maybe after that was when things started to change a lot. Okay, there's an Archon. Let's go ahead and go to game 3. Wow, Supplier good, actually. I mean, I could be getting Hidetsugu against like this kind of game plan. I think I'm still not going to. Shadow Prophecies have overpowered Reanimator strategies. I have not like been like, it's okay. I think that I like it more in the Goryo's version where you don't have Unmarked Grave, but like in this version, like Muldrifter is like the better grindy 3-drop, I think, and then Unmarked Grave and Indulgence are better enablers for your plan. But I did think that Shadow Prophecy fit really well in this deck. I want to play more of this deck too. This is a deck that like doesn't want to play Muldrifter really because you can't persist it, and doesn't get access to Unmarked Grave because you're going in on like the legends instead of a non-legendary Archon. Good luck, Niels. Wish you a fast recovery. Okay, let's keep this hand. What if I put in siding in the Stitcher Supplier against Ragavan decks? That would be a big brain. And you know what? I might actually take a point from a previous opponent and just grief on turn 1 when I have Ragavan, just to try to get the Ragavan through. Okay, and my opponent's hand is like 3 answers for Ragavan. Great. I'm probably not taking the Archon though. I can still terminate. Wow. Yeah, I think if I don't draw a land, I probably have to terminate the supplier. Oh, they milled over Priest and Rites. It's actually pretty good. Okay, now I'm definitely doing it. Guess I shouldn't have 6. Wow, supplier broken actually. Can cast my own. Let's not, so I can Blood Moon. Oh, my opponent has Island in their hand. And they just get a Plains. They get a Plains main phase. Can still cut them off of black mana, but why did they get the Plains main phase? They're getting Ephemerate Supplier? Not sure. I also don't have a swamp in play, notably. Although Bombardment's pretty nice. Although, I do run the risk of milling over a Archon for them. They also might just Rites their Grief, but if they Rites their Grief, then they're not going to be able to, like, reanimate anything, because they can't get their swamp. I guess they just had Water Give in play because they're 3 colors, but yeah, if they're going to play around Blood Moon, they should have got swamp, I think. Not sure. Maybe not. Oh. Well. Not a bad draw. Yeah, so if I mill over Archon here, things get tricky. Don't mill over Archon. So hopefully things are untricky. Okay, I guess I'm down to Persist a Grief. Although if their hand is all Archons, this backfires. Okay, not all Archons. It was Archon 2 mystery cards? I don't know. It's still tough for it to... I guess it could have been 2 lands too. So if I draw a land, I can go Bloodghast, ping them, return land. Bloodghast has haste. Although I think we just have lethal anyways. This is 6 on the 5. No, we're 1 short. Oh, we're not 1 short if we just Seasoned Pyromancer token though. I know of the treasure. What is the treasure doing for me here? Because I know I can cast the Bloodghast, but I'm not hasting the Bloodghast unless I have a land to return it, right? Which is this. Although, I mean, this should be more damage, right? So I put them down to 4. Yeah, this is lethal. Xaxes even. Better to shoot the supplier. This is lethal. It's not better to shoot the supplier though, because I get to attack with 1 less creature if I do. Because I have to shoot them to have hasty Bloodghast. So I think this was better. Okay, 3-2 the league. Lost to Calibrated Blast, which like it doesn't count, but also lost to Hammer Time despite the sideboard changes. Sideboard changes did feel better than previous plans of like Ingot Chewer, Pirate Spell Bomb. Still not like easy win, but I do want to raid Amy today. I got to hang out with Amy this weekend with the professor. Amy's really, really cool. Amazing streamer. She's seems to be drafting today, but Amy's just like the coolest ever. Brad and the professor were also very cool. But if I'll be honest, of the 3, I was the biggest Amy fan.